Now Rossi was a carefree lad, a traveller, a right old cad, and every time he'd make a home, he'd break it up and off he'd roam. As long as he still got around and hopped from land to land unbound, he'd live his dream of roving free, adventures new, fresh sights to see. When he told Beth that he was going, she wept so hard for lack of knowing. The dawning of their bold new life had always been earmarked for strife. That sweetest thing, the growing bond 'tween her and one who'd had her conned. That paradise that had unfurled would die so he could see the world. "My girl," he said, "I thought you knew that my tomorrow's not for you. That great wild road I'll ride upon, to pastures new I'm moving on." Then he met Blanche, who he did hook, so in her heart a cosy nook was labelled always just for Ross. Then she was banged out with the dross. "I thought," she said, "this was eternal, not that you'd screw our love and burn all." "My lass," he laughed, "some other chicks will some day need to get their kicks. And while in Greece I'll think of you, the loss of my sweet bird I'll rue, while musing by the Parthenon. But now, me love, I'm moving on." Grace thought she'd got him, as he said, on Mount Arapiles they'd wed. Her dreams went up in campfire smoke, 'twas his idea of a great joke. "Look at the swans," she said, as they sailed on the stream at break of day. "Do you think you could imitate the swan that never leaves its mate?" "That's just romantic floss, I reckon. Nah, not while open highways beckon. Me lovey, hey, I'm not a swan. Me honey bun, I'm moving on." Before he left this land again, he set up camp with Hottie Jane, who did not see how he could part the rarest joy from her poor heart. "My one," he said, "I cannot let you limit me and others fret, for some true bliss they'll never know if you, cutie, don't let me go. 'Tis my last supper in this land for quite some time, me lady grand." He turned and gobbled a capon. "Stiff shit," he said, "I'm moving on." And all the many paramours he left on grand and windswept shores, like some train wreck of broken hearts, mourning their smashed hopes and false starts, were testament to his great zest for total freedom and the quest towards a life lived just as one, with no great love to spoil his fun. One day Ross slobbered down a beer with his good mates who'd met him here at this cute pub in old Saigon, to where for now he had moved on. "What is it, tell me, about women? They think your leaving is so grimmin'. Still I'm a bee that gathers pollen, ah ha ha! I just can't stop me leaving on 'em, ha ha ha!" As round the pub the laughter pealed. "I'll tell you what," he said, "I'm healed when I'm not listening to their whining. This it, if it's for me they're pining." As bold he traversed round the globe, the girls for him would still disrobe, till finally he stood atop a mountain with a great backdrop. In Switzerland the grace and charm did seem to say he'd know no harm. He leapt up, skis and pride airborne, the vista showed the gleaming morn, so relishing his life anew, he laughed out loud at girlies true, who with a tear or sullen glower refused to just live in the hour. Against that sunny, far-off sky, unfettered, joyful, Ross did fly. Rapacious freedom's thrillsome race concluded in that fateful place. For Ross realised with horror stark he'd misjudged his great leaping arc. The snow plain with an eerie glow was fast approaching down below. The sun dimmed as he hit the ground, and then he saw a light profound. But all too soon the world turned black, and pain was screaming in his back. He saw his glorious caper stall in that remote Swiss hospital. He cursed his shattered, broken frame. They say I'll never walk again. Back home, despondent, in his chair, replaying that leap through the air. He wished so hard that he had stayed with any damn girl that he'd laid, for there was no one but his mum to chop his food and wipe his bum. At not one romance had he worked. Those eager girls he'd cruelly shirked. He rang them up, all said the same. Oh dear, poor Ross, it's such a shame. I'm with a guy though, you're foregone. That's life, I guess, I'm moving on. So, Rossie, he did turn to drink, to escape his life's sewer stink. Those beauties hovered in his mind to mock him for his fate's cruel bind. Then one fine day the pub door squeaked. He gazed up as his last joy leaked, by grim degrees with mournful dirge, into his beer's slow maddening surge. 'Twas Ellie, that old riotous joke, that smart-assed chick who once he'd poke. She'd never been his sexiest loot. He'd slept with her just for a hoot. No beauty was she, and he thought she'd be his last choice. If life brought back halcyon days of sheen and gloss, when women ran to supple Ross. Yet all the things she'd said were right, and at his usual heartless flight she'd scarcely even shown offence. She'd merely told him he was dense. So he remembered as he turned, and shameful blush in his cheeks burned. He knew, though her barbs had been curter, his sudden departure had hurt her. He told his story. She felt sure that if he didn't bang the door, on hope and faith and confidence, his life could somehow still make sense. Look, Elle, I've been an idiot, hurt scores of girls, made you all fret. Now in me mum's damn shack I'm stayin', me journey's run, and boy I'm payin'. I feel so bad, for glory be, I failed to value loyalty. Discarded ones, so good, so true, did not know with me life I'd screw. What do you want? She said. A girl who'll take your wheelchair and then whirl you out on some hot, sexy date, who'll inspire you to alter fate, who'll clean your toenails, wash your jocks, cook meals for you, pull on your socks, who's cooler than your poor old ma, though now you might not travel far. A girl with heart, he said, and verve, who's so much more than I deserve, who'll help me see the way to make a love no wretchedness can shake. I'll eat all that I wouldn't learn, and hold on tight when bridges burn. If we can rub along together, who knows, it just might be forever. Well, you, she said, won't want to roam once you have truly found your home. Now from this place let us be gone, leave grief behind, we're moving on.